Hello, comrades. Welcome back to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. My name, of course, is Zobra Potato. A couple of things to update you on since the last episode. First and foremost, we've gone into the future a little bit. Ignore these two screens for just a second. We've gone into the future a little bit. I think it was round about the start of February. It was definitely winter the last time that you were here, which is fine. During that time, there's been a fair amount of construction progress going on in Bolshoi, Alamon, as well as Stalnoy. It's going a little bit slower over here, purely just because everything is like miles and miles and miles away from the town itself. But at the end of the day, we are making progress. Look at that. Construction is running without issues. However, the reason that I have these two windows open is because I've realized that there is another money-making scheme. This one is entirely legal that we can capitalize on. Right, so basically I completely neglected to consider that this power grid is connected to both the western border up here at Dnega and also over at Disneylandovsk, where it's connected to the Soviet border. So there is no reason why we cannot be exporting at both the Disneylandovsk foreign power connection for rubles and also over here as well for dollars, which means that hopefully we're going to be able to pay down our debt just a little bit faster than we currently are. Of course, in the intervening time between months, I did have to take out a couple of small bridging loans, really, just to sort of keep us afloat so that we could continue to feed our citizens. Yeah, we took out around about $300,000, 300,000 rubles, I should say, in loans at a rate of 3%, just for half a year, just to really bridge us over. Dollars as well, I kind of extended our line of credit very, very slightly with a series of $10,000 loans, mostly because I think that we don't really need dollars. It's just our dollars really decrease substantially whenever a large, not a Maz tanker, whenever an open back Maz truck comes to pick up steel from the open storage area next to the border. It just absolutely torpedoes our dollars, but it's fine for the most part. It's fine for the most part. Right. What do we want to accomplish today? It's a great question. First and foremost, I should address some comments. So there was a really, really, really good idea in the comments about, instead of driving all of the raw bauxite to the border, which is what's happening at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Can we see where these trucks are, actually? Have they got to the border yet? I'm assuming that it's... Yeah, it is this place. Okay. Where are they? Oh, they've run it. Yeah, okay. So this is basically what I was worried about. I was thinking, hey, we'll see if we can try and get a few extra pennies by selling some of this raw bauxite to the border. It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea primarily because now we have trucks that are just stuck in the middle of nowhere without fuel, and we're going to have to spend some of our precious, precious rubles rescuing them. Anyway, the great idea was to use, instead of trucks to export the raw bauxite, we should use ships, and we should transport the raw bauxite to the Petrograd shipping area, and we just sort of run it from there. I need to take out yet another little cheeky loan. That's okay though. That's okay. That's fine. We're also going to need to sort out the power situation here, which, oh, look at that. Thankfully, there's a border over here, and this border will quite conveniently be an excellent place to drag a power line from, and we smack this down here. If there is ever a fire in this vicinity, I mean, look, it's burning down. It's burning down. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. It's not going to survive here. All right, let's get that built. There we go. Good stuff. Fuel, buildings without power supply. It should have a power supply imminently. Auto purchase with rubles. Let's actually auto-purchase with dollars, to be honest, because there is no reason to be using auto-purchasing with rubles anymore. And we will put this on import, like so. And that should work. There we go. And you've just found the fuel station. Let's get that sorted. Okay, so back to the whole idea of exporting raw bauxite via ship. Now, of course, Potato likes this idea greatly. Potato likes this idea greatly because it's a really, really sensible idea. However, let me chat about a couple of problems. First and foremost, the distance between Bolshoi, Alamon, and Petrograd Harbor Potato Harbor area over here is not great. It's not great at all. However, it's going to take a little while for the trucks to drive down here, unless we want to do some sort of mad conveyor, long-range conveyor strategy, which I very much doubt we're going to want to do. It's more likely that we just want to repurpose the Maz trucks that are currently delivering to the border and instead drive them down to this area. The next problem that we need to discuss, is the fact that the cargo harbor here is not the correct cargo harbor to receive the aggregate. We would need to get a harbor for aggregate loading if we wanted to make this work. Now, how much is this harbor for aggregate loading going to cost? It's going to cost 180,000 rubles. Not to mention, I don't even think that this part of the river is wide enough to necessarily fit in this harbor here, which is not necessarily the end of the world, because there is a very, very good chance that we could just stick in a harbor for aggregate loading. In fact, we can absolutely do that. We can stick in a harbor for aggregate loading right over here, and then we can just sort of trundle it down the river. Of course, it's not exactly great because we are right in the middle of the map, and we're going to have to transport it right to the border if indeed we're going to want to export here. But it does mean that we could maybe do some crazy conveyor strategy. I mean, we have this conveyor engine transfer thing over here, and we have an output. So it's entirely conceivable that we could have a harbor over here, and we could just automatically export all of the raw bauxite right into the aggregate harbor. Now, where this becomes a little bit less of a value proposition, I mean, if you disregard the fact that we're going to have to fork out 183,000 rubles in order to just buy the harbor in the first place. I don't think there's not a smaller harbor for aggregate loading, is there? No, it has to be the big one. Let's turn this off. Let's plonk this down, because I am genuinely very, very interested in making this happen. And I did see that there was a green space for the harbor here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so that's not going to auto build. We do probably want to end up auto building that, because I want to start exporting all of this raw bauxite that we're just sitting on here. We're just sitting on. We're not doing anything with it. The problem is that when aluminium gets refined, it gets refined into, how can I show this best? It gets refined into bauxite. Bauxite, of course, can still be exported as an aggregate. However, aluminium is not an aggregate, so that needs to be weighed up, i.e. we're gonna be eventually, when this whole construction process is done, we're gonna be wanting to export aluminium rather than aggregate, and therefore building an aggregate harbor, even temporarily, does seem like a fairly considerable use of cash. Of course, not to mention the fact that we're gonna have to get all of the boats that are equipped to carry aggregate to the border, and of course we're gonna have to pay for the fuel in order to get the aggregate to the border. So all in all, it's an idea that is going to make us money long term, but short term is going to be absolutely horrifically expensive. Therefore, I'm all in. I love it. I absolutely love the idea, and if it involves more loans, well, you can count me absolutely in. Okay, first things first. Let me get a couple of modded conveyor engines, because I think doing this via conveyor engine transfer is probably the best way to do it. Let's try and do something like, there we go, excellent. And let's make it as long as possible. Don't quote me on that. There we go. And oh, that was so close to actually working. Okay, that's going to cost an inordinate amount of money. An absolutely inordinate amount of money, not to mention the fact that we do need to stick down a power transformer in the middle here. Oh my goodness, this is going to be the most expensive project that I have ever undertaken in the pursuit of making money. Wow, okay. However, that being said, the amount of raw bauxite that we have here is pretty considerable. But it's going to take a considerable time to make our money back. That is for sure. Okay, I think we're going to take out a big old loan here. 6.1%. That's actually pretty agreeable. Let's take out a 6.1% loan. Absolutely excellent. Can we take out another 6.1% loan? Oh, no, that that cracks us up to a 6.2. Okay, we have 15 million rubles outstanding. That's actually not as much as I kind of anticipated, but I guess there we are. Okay, so let's build that. Let's build that. Build that. Build all of this. How much is that going to cost? This is going to cost a lot of money. By virtue of the fact that these are really, really expensive. These are really, really expensive to build generally. They consume a lot of steel. They consume a lot of mechanical components. It's just going to be pricey. Let's finish this out as well. All of the towers that are required to transport the bauxite, we're going to complete. There we go. So we do still have this aggregate loading for trucks over here, but I mean, it's going to be a little bit less than required. And the harbor is being built. The harbor is going to take a pretty considerable time. All right, and now we need to find a willing power cable. I mean, do we have a spare slot here by any chance? I very much doubt. Yeah, we don't really. We don't really. This is going crazy here. We need to be really careful, by the way. We need to be very, very careful that our coal power plant is not overworked. In fact, I suspect that there are power shortages right now because we just don't have enough people working at the power plants. But I'm sure that there are going to be more people arriving very, very soon, and we're not going to be without power for long. I'm sure everything will be just fine, and we absolutely will not run out of workers. Oh my goodness gracious me. Just more people to the power plant, please. Come on. How difficult is it? There we go. Keep the people coming. Keep the people coming. Excellent. There we go. Love to see it. Love, love, love to see it. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Good. So we are maxed out, technically, in terms of power production, which is a little bit worrying, because that's not what I like to see. Maybe let's crank down our exports just a smidgen. There we go. Crank that down a little bit. Crank that down a little bit. Does that bring things back under control? Not really. Not. Yes, really. Okay, good. We're back under control. Bolshoi Alamon Electric Substation is looking dapper. Looking absolutely fine. Okay. So, next thing that we want to do, we want to crack open a cold one. We want to crack that down. We want to finish this power cable up, and we're gonna hope that the power requirement for this entire area is such that it's not going to overload the very puny wires that I am assigning to this mission here. This is going to be a cross-country wire if ever I've seen one. Incredible. Okay. Right, how much have I spent already? 500,000 rubles. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's money. Buildings without power supply? Question mark? Should be with power supply, really. There we go. It is now with power supply. Good stuff. Okay, let's get the rest of the towers built here. Are we able to start moving stuff? We still have... We still are waiting for resources. I guess not many resources can be moved across. No road connection. I think this should be fine. Yeah, I think this should be fine now. Right, so let's auto-purchase. Oh, I don't really want to auto-purchase fuel, but I'm going to. I'll auto-purchase fuel with rubles. That's fine. And then let's see if we can try and get some boats that are going to move some aggregate storage. The reason that I'm being so hasty is because I'm almost certain that we're going to end up running out of money at some point during the process. Okay, a hopper ship, 350,000 rubles. We got the aggregates. The Hercules aggregate, the Hercules open cargo. Okay, so the Hercules aggregate does 1,357 tons. The hopper ship does 1,100. I mean, it's probably round about the same value, to be honest. The Hercules is a little bit smaller. What's the max speed? 14 knots versus 16 knots. This is a little bit more expensive, and it carries a little bit more. I think we're going to need a lot more of these than I'm anticipating at this moment in time. Put it that way. Anything else that we can really get? The gravel. We could get these small boats, but I really don't think it's worth it. Okay, let's start with 3, frankly, because we cannot afford a 4th. So this is a modded boat right here. It doesn't really look the prettiest, but it doesn't need to. I don't really care. Right, let's go here, wait until loaded. Then we want to go to the Soviet borders. want to unload everything, wait until unloaded. I mean, it doesn't need to be on wait until unloaded. That's fine. And then you can start. Okay, excellent. And then we will copy, paste across both of these boats. And we have to hope that this makes us money at some point within the next 10 years. Otherwise, I will be very, very upset indeed. Okay. I tell you what, though, that's quite speedy. I know that we're in double speed, but that is quite speedy. Maximum speed of the river cargo ship is 5 knots. This thing does 16. That's quite impressive, actually. That's quite impressive. I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed indeed. Right, I think that we've got one mechanism in all of these mines, with the exception of, like, here and also here. Okay. So, one mechanism in absolutely every mine. They do still need to fill up with fuel, which is, of course, going to take a little bit of time, but that's absolutely a-okay. And I'm really, really curious to see if this is all configured properly and it all just works first time without me trying. Will it? Won't it? Who knows? I think that it should. If I'm not mistaken, we are providing power to absolutely every part of this process. Yep. Not anticipating any issues here. We have all of the bauxite. We've got power here. Excellent. I think we're ready. I think we're ready. Right. Place your bets in the comments right now. How much is a full Hercules aggregate ship full of raw bauxite? How much is it going to be worth? I reckon 10,000 rubles. I reckon 10,000 rubles, to be honest. And maybe even that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Also, you know what I should do? Whilst we're waiting for this to happen, let's have a little look-see down here. So this is the distribution office that is currently chronically overworked. And you know what? We're gonna add on yet another harbor to that over there. Bolshoi Alamon Harbor, 80% fuel. Excellent. That's good. Okay, so are we loading up? We're loading up. It's looking good. Okay, this is going to be more money than I even anticipated. This is excellent. This is very, very good news. Buildings without power supply? Aha. Okay, well, this is a problem. Hold on. The problem resides in Kolovskaysky. We have one worker. Right, this needs to change. We need to do something about this here. Because that is absolutely unacceptable. We cannot have power cuts like that. That's just an absolute no. There we go. 92% of people are going to be devoted to the power plant. Yeah, we cannot afford that anymore. Okay, right. Let's have a little look. How's this looking here? We've got plenty of bauxite that's just chilling around. Wait, what? Everyone is going to go and fill up at the fuel station, apparently. Right. Do not understand why that's happening. I mean, I understand why, you know, vehicles need to fill up with fuel. It doesn't seem to be going as smoothly as I originally anticipated. We do still have bauxite coming in. 700 tons in that one, 300 tons in that one. Okay, there is money in raw bauxite. I take it all back. I take it all back. There is money in raw bauxite. We just need more. We just need more. We need more mechanisms, I think. Is that really what we're after? You know what? Let's freaking go. Mechanisms for everyone. Mechanisms for days. Let's also get some workers out over here as well. Okay, I'm out of money, but that's okay. That's not going to stop me from taking out another hugely irresponsible loan. We've only spent 1.5 million rubles this month, so, you know, a reasonably light month for spending. Interest rate has jumped back down to 6.2. Man, I remember the day when I was appalled at like a 5% rate of interest loan. Now look at me. I would kill for a 5% interest loan. Either way, let's max this out. Also, you know what we should do? We should absolutely categorically put a fuel station in the middle here, because the amount of time that all of these mechanisms are spending driving around the place is ridiculous. So, where is the best place for a fuel station? Probably like right in here. We just nestle it. Nestle it right in... Well, I was going to say right in this vicinity, but I mean, it doesn't look like much nestling is going to occur over there. So instead, We'll just make sure that it's got a fuel connection. Build, 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 build. And we'll make sure that we are auto-importing. Why don't we import with dollars? Yeah, let's import with dollars. Auto-purchase with dollars. What the heck, eh? There we go. Actually put our dollars to work. Maybe take the heat off the rubles a little bit. Cool. Right, so this is going to give us an inordinately large amount of bauxite, I hope. All of these trucks need to go back. Hold on. View line detail. Let's move them back into here. Yeah. We can re-equip them. Re-equip them back in there. Back in there. Right, so that's great. That means that we no longer have to worry. Discard all cargo. Excellent. Discard all cargo. Good stuff. Right, so now we no longer need to worry about these Maz trucks. They should all just head back to the depot, and we won't have to worry about it, and we're no longer going to be faced with the prospect of irritatingly long drives. Excuse me? You're going backwards? That's new technology right there. Oh, that was actually remarkably smooth. So the boat reversed in order to let the other boat get through. Well, that is remarkable. I never thought that I would see such a thing. Delighted to see it, though. Either way, I think that we should be able to get a fairly considerable amount of bauxite extracted here. And the good news is that it should cost us reasonably little to do. I mean, sure, it's going to cost us something in fuel, but I mean, for the most part, I think that we'll be okay. I think that we'll be okay. Right, how's construction coming along over here? It's fine. It's just taking a lot of concrete, and concrete takes a long time to get across here. How on earth are the trucks driving along the super slow road? We should absolutely delete this road here. There we go. Wonderful. There is no alternative now. You have to drive on the fast road. Oh, look at this. It's a marvelous procession. Oh, I know why they were driving along the dirt road. The reason that they were driving along the dirt road is so that they don't interfere with traffic on the main road. That was actually a polite thing to do, so they don't hold up the express traffic, as it were. My bad. I shouldn't have assumed that it was a bad maneuver. There we go. All right, look at this. Yeah, see, the buses are getting held up behind the excavators here. Either way, I sincerely think that we should be outputting a serious amount of raw bauxite here. This is very, very exciting. Also, we probably want to get more Hercules vessels at some point. Whether we do that now, whether we do that in a little bit, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Also, why don't we put the good people of Aluminov to work? We have a couple of people that are waiting at the bus stop here, but I mean, Aluminov is ripe for expansion, and I can very much envision a world in which we invite a huge number of immigrants to come and work here. So for that reason, why don't we build? That's right, a concrete-based railway, and we'll see if we can try and connect up a concrete-based railway over here. It's not a thrillingly large walking area that people can end up reaching. Let's worry about that in a second. Okay. Worry about that in a bit. No, I do not want... Actually, maybe I do want electrified railways. I have electrified railways over in Potatograd, and you know what? Maybe we just invest our absolute premium tech. Our premium tech, we immediately start off with electrified railways. We immediately start off with a dual direction railway. Okay, we're going crazy. We're spending a inordinate amount of money on this process here, but I kind of love it. Okay. Now, we need to make sure that there is still the ability for this railway to branch, and I think that we are giving it ample space. Yeah, so that should be totally fine. We'll build that track connection later once all of the heavy aluminium treatment facilities are properly up and running. This is deeply frustrating, actually. We'll disconnect it. We'll disconnect it. There we go. That's looking completely fine. And that's looking completely fine, too. Right, can we get a crossover going here? Oh, boy, we absolutely can. That is looking real good. Okay, only 321,000. Only 321,000 in building costs. Oh boy, that's actually going to be a little bit more than that as well once you factor into account this amendment that I'm going to have to make over here. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, that's fine. A little bit of crossover. Of course, we're going to need to squeeze in a power transformer, or whatever the heck it's called on a electrified railway. It's railroad electric connection? Is that it? I think that's exactly what it's called. All right. Cool. Let's do this. Can I get the fine adjustment, please? Nice. Okay. This is going to cost a lot. Is it ever going to pay for itself? I sincerely hope so. I sincerely hope so. My rationale for doing this, by the way, is that if we can do it with excavators, then it's basically free, right? Like, it basically doesn't cost us anything. Also, how on earth is this power transformer without power? I don't know, but that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, let's take this opportunity. Ditch that. Grab the modded transformer real quick. Plonk that down. We'll need to make sure that we build that. Cool. And then we will get, I think it's medium voltage that we power the train with. Or power the tram with, I should say. Right. Alrighty, let's do it. We also need to make sure that we reconnect the wires over here, which is happening right now. Excellent, good stuff. And then we also, just to top this entire area off, we're going to need to get a train depot, which is not going to be too much of a problem. Of course, unless there's a fire, in which case, welp. That sucks, I guess. Right, so let's get the directionality sorted. Let's get the chain signals sorted. Of course, I can't do that because... Oh, gosh, this... Frustrating. The road is gonna have to be taken up, I'm afraid. No choice but to remove the road. There we go, and then I need to get bi-directional signals right over there, right over there. Cool. That looks good to me. And that's all the correct direction. That's all the correct direction. Excellent. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And plonk down a chain signal. Yep, there. That's fine. Please don't do this to me, video game. Oh, boy. Alright, well, I guess this is being ripped out, and we're putting it in a location that is more inconvenient, I guess. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. I should have zoned the signals first. It's my own fault for thinking that the video game would allow me to place something in that location, but that's fine. Okay, so signals are all down. Track is all built. Trains need to be purchased. Depot needs to be built. Depot needs to be connected just in case there is a fire. And, of course, the depot needs to be connected to the rail network. Hold on. Let me see which direction this train is going in. It's going to need to be connected like so. Not a difficult connection to make. There we go. That's grand. Alright, I'm probably going to end up deleting this at some point in the future. I don't like the way that track looks. Don't like the fact that it crosses over other tracks, but we can probably fix it with signals if indeed it's required. Okay, we need a motor wagon, and the motor wagon that we are going to purchase is going to be the big one. Let's get 2 of them. 2 of them I think will be absolutely adequate. And we'll run from here. Right the way over to here. And workers only. Workers only. There we go. However, anyone is fine. And we will also re-enable... There we go. We will enable workers actually starting to assemble at the train station, which should be completely fine. I think this is the episode, by the way. I think this is the episode where we pay off all of our dollar loans. Believe it or not, I think this is the episode. Rubles, on the other hand, no. Disastrous. Absolutely terrible. But dollars, we are good for. We are good for dollars. Okay, this is looking real nice. I'm really happy with this. How much of a modifier are people gonna give to this aluminium mining process? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Also, this needs to be sped up a little bit. Let's get a connection over there so that we can get to the fuel station a little bit more quickly. And truth be told, these really shouldn't be dirt roads anymore. They should be upgraded to gravel, and they need to be upgraded to gravel. But we'll get to that in a little bit. All right. Have we got a single full ship of bauxite yet? No, we do not. No, we do not. But we're working on it. We're working on it. We're getting there. We're getting there. This ship is just going backwards, forwards, upside down, all around. 3 workers. We have 3 workers. This is great news. We have 3 whole workers. Wonderful. Love to see it. So we still need workers to be going to the bus platform. Of course, they supply the heating plant. Very important. Also supply the construction projects that we are working on. So yeah, pretty darn important, I'll say. Pretty darn important. Now, I see an opportunity for a accelerated transit route over here, and I think that we're going to take it. We're actually going to zone this road to be built just by the construction offices here. I don't consider that it's going to be a particularly difficult challenge, so let's see if we can get this road built as swiftly as we possibly can, and therefore we may be able to speed up the transit time for all of the trucks and vehicles that are going to Bolshoi, Alamon, and who are building stuff over there. Okay, our train is about to arrive with 3 whole workers. Let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. Buildings without power supply. Yeah, that's really not good, is it? That's really not good. Really not good. We do need to fix that. Okay, 3 whole workers. Wonderful. Where are they gonna go? Okay. 32 tons of raw bauxite per day. What did that jump up to? Hold on. We're at 43 tons here. It's gonna jump up to 45 tons. Okay, I guess it doesn't increase the output by that much. Maybe this has all been a little bit of a waste of cash. I guess only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. That's a full load. That's 2 full loads of bauxite that we've got here. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's excellent. Okay, well, you know what we need to do? We need to get a couple of additional... We need to get a couple of additional boats, I suspect. Right, where are you gonna go? You're gonna go that way to the border? Is that really quicker? I suppose. Okay, I guess if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. I get it. I understand. I sympathize, but it doesn't look like it's a very quick route. But there we are. Okay. The only thing that we could really do to accelerate this... Start that. The only thing that we could really do to accelerate the mining of raw bauxite is to get more people really to work in these bauxite mines. Again, not really sure that it makes a tremendous difference, but even if it makes a slight difference, it's probably worth it. This is actually probably going to be fairly profitable. This is probably going to be fairly profitable, and this is a good system. And the reason this is a good system is because when we are done processing the bauxite, or the raw bauxite, into full-blown bauxite, we'll be able to export from here. We'll be able to export from these small aggregate storage facilities, and we'll be able to export them via this harbor as well, which is kind of lovely, actually. Kind of fantastic. The fact that we keep on running out of power is probably somewhat symptomatic of some larger problems that are at stake. Births and deaths are looking good. Last month was March, of course, and March was fine for births and deaths. So that's okay, I guess. This is... yeah, we got a plentiful number of workers over here. We've not got many workers. Not got many workers in this prefab flat. Is that because of a life expectancy thing? Could be to do with a life expectancy thing. I kind of think that maybe we could do with moving a couple of people across. See if we can try and move a couple of people across here. Alright, relocate citizens to this vicinity. There we go. Will that make much of a difference? I suspect that it absolutely will. We do have rather a large number of patients that are still waiting for treatment by doctors as well. So we may have rather a few too many deaths at this moment in time. But we will get right on top of that treatment with our brightest and best minds. Okay, and there we go. 115 workers are now waiting at the bus stop. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I have no idea what those 115 workers are supposed to do. Just supposed to sit there and be happy, I guess. Happy that they're not working, which is fine. Maybe go work in the hospital or something. I don't know. Increase the max number of people that can work in the hospital. Sure. I don't really care. It doesn't really particularly matter to me. I'm all in on alumina of providing huge amounts of value for me now. That's what I gotta say. That's what I gotta say about that. Okay, this is looking fine. It's looking fine. As long as we got electricity, we're good, right? We are good. Okay, we got one worker. One worker coming through here. It's also fine. Yeah, this is nice. This is actually really, really nice. How is Stalnoy coming along? It's coming, actually. It's coming. We should also probably pause this. Suspend construction of that. Suspend construction of that. There's no reason to work on construction of these two ore processing plants. And before we start buying the very, very expensive steel as well, probably makes sense to hold that off. Okay. And everything else is looking okay. We just need a lot of concrete, and concrete takes rather a long time to arrive at Stalnoy here. Yeah, it takes a little time. It takes a little time given that we only have one concrete processing facility. Okay, the boat is full. The boat is full. It's remarkable, but we have three Hercules boats that are en route to the border right now. In fact, are we exporting right now? No, we're not. Okay, the two boats are almost there. 47,000 rubles though. I mean, that's not bad. I will say that these boats cost what? 370,000 a pop, right? 380,000 a pop. 380,000 a pop. Fine. But we buy two more. We copy the schedule from the existing Hercules boats. These boats will pay for themselves in like 4 trips. It's slight under exaggeration. It's more like 6 or 7. They'll pay for themselves in 6 or 7 trips. I mean, given that this series is you know, I mean, it feels well underway, but in reality, it's just beginning. We haven't even managed to get aluminium yet. We haven't even managed to get an aircraft assembly plant. We haven't even managed to get a vehicle assembly plant. You know, so given that these boats are able to travel super duper duper fast, given that they're able to carry 50,000 rubles a pop, they are absolutely going to make their money back. I am very, very into raw bauxite. This is truly exceptional news. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk that raw bauxite could have been our answer to all of our problems? Okay, also, let's see if we can try and get this road upgraded here. There we go. We want to get this area properly upgraded. We want to get these gravel roads introduced ASAP so that we can have slightly faster turnaround time. What's the issue? Oh, yeah, we can't... Okay, I'll build that, and I'll build that. There we go. That'll fix the problems, right? There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, I had to build a couple of roads manually there, but that's not the end of the world. Let's have a little look at our cash real quick. I think it's time that we return all of our little tiny $10,000 loans that I took out to sort of tide us over between episodes here. There we go. That leaves us with $107,000. We only owe $160,000. That's somewhat remarkable. My rubles are increasing dramatically, which means that... Wow, okay, I get... Why are my rubles increasing dramatically? It must be export of resources. It's bitumen. Okay, so bitumen is coming in thick and fast. That's wonderful. Actually, speaking of bitumen and fuel and Krudenovsky and whatnot, let's briefly look at that. I know that I haven't really done it much. Oh my lordy, look at the tourists that we're having recently. That's wonderful. That's really, really great. There's a school fire, Turistovsky fire truck was called and is headed. I don't believe that we should have any difficulties accessing the school. There may be an issue with the fact that the road isn't connected, but given that the school doesn't have any parking spaces, I do indeed believe that a pathway is absolutely acceptable as a means of the fire trucks reaching the school. There we go. Cracking. Excellent. Wonderful stuff. Right, no, what was I going to say about bitumen? Okay, first and foremost, bitumen is you know, we're maxed out in the bitumen tank. We're almost also maxed out in the fuel tank, if you can believe that. That's ridiculous to consider, but great news, actually. Like, genuinely fantastic. Yeah, really, really, really good. And I kinda can't believe it, actually. Cannot believe it at all. Yeah, so this area is almost ready, I believe, to be completely jeweled. We are almost done building... I mean, we suspended... Yeah, the whole... Yeah, we need to rework this area a little bit, but to be honest, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Disneylandovsk is looking very, very good. I'm very, very happy with it. The Leningradsky Hotel is also looking pretty darn freaking incredible. Maybe we should put the price up a little bit. Expected rating is going to tank, but I mean, at the end of the day, who really cares? Who really cares, right? Let's max the freaking price out. Okay, it's only going to be 3 stars, but I think that's what we're kind of after, to be honest. We're just after... We're after rubles. We're not after good trip reviews. Sounds harsh, but it's shockingly true. And I will say, it looks like we're bringing in a fair number of tourists via boats. And it looks like we're able to deal with them all at the Leningradsky Hotel. It's not much of a hotel. It's more of a storage facility for people who are brave enough to enter the country. Either way, I'm delighted that they've chosen to visit. Absolutely delighted. You can see here, by the way, this truck has loaded up with $37,000 worth of steel, which equates to a full load, and of course our dollars have been completely decimated, but at the end of the day, that's fine. We're still on track to completely repaying this loan, and especially if we're charging our tourists just an extraordinary amount of money, then we're probably going to be in an even better position, I will say. Yeah, I really like this. This is peak tourism season, so I would expect lots and lots of tourists looking to come to the country. 39 tourists ready for pickup here. That's cool. 29 waiting for pickup over there. That's also cool. How many tourists are coming in via plane here? 11 tourists on the plane. 10 tourists on the plane. That one's leaving. That's fine. Cool. This is looking excellent. This is looking really, really, really good. I'm pretty happy with that. Building closed due to bad weather. It's 16 degrees Celsius. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, video game? You don't need to close the building due to bad weather. You just open it up. You know, call it I don't know, a unique experience. A unique insight. Something along those lines. I don't know. Right. Back to Alamon. We're out of power, which means that we are out of... No, hold on. Oh my god, did I buy... Oh my god, I bought... I didn't buy the right trains. I didn't buy the right freaking trains. They're fuel. I should have bought the trams. Oh, potato, you twits. Oh, potato, you twit. All right. How many people? How many people in the comments absolutely went off their rocker when I did this? I can't believe that the trains ran for as long as they actually did. That's kind of incredible. Oh, that's a very potato thing to do. Okay, well, you know what? Sell. 0 workers on this train. Sell. Excellent. Dispatch. Dispatch. I was so enthralled with the idea of finally using trams again that I neglected to actually use trams again. So there we go. That has now been rectified. We should now no longer have any issues along that vein. Right, so what we can also do over here is start work on a big old modded residential building. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I don't want to build it with rubles. I would rather wait for it to be built. I'll build the road for 500 rubles. You know, you can't really go wrong with that. I'd rather wait for this to be built by the construction offices. And to be honest, I don't really anticipate it taking that long. We have all of the necessary materials right here, with the exception of concrete, which is the one outstanding potential problem and delay, I suspect, that we are gonna see. But you know, we can wait, and either way, eventually it is going to allow a large source of workers to be stored reasonably near the train station, which is of course going to mean that we're able to transport people much more swiftly, much more efficiently to the bauxite mining area, which is going to be great. Right, let's have a look. What's going on here? This is looking good. This is looking good. We got more bauxite. We're almost actually filled with bauxite on these 2 brand new boats that we ended up building. What I'm kind of determined to see is that no ounce of bauxite goes wasted. We want to make sure that we are constantly using all of the bauxite that we're producing in the export process. So let's see if we can try and take out another loan. Yes, that's right. You heard me. 6.4%. I don't actually need 1 million. I don't actually need 2 million, I should say. And I don't actually need it for that long. Let's bring it down. 2.5 years, 4.6. Sure. And let's buy 2 Hercules aggregate storage boats. And we'll copy and paste both of these. The reason that I'm doing this right now is, again, so that, you know, we don't waste an ounce of bauxite. If this small aggregate storage ends up maxing out, then that will to me signal that we have failed to min-max our bauxite export. Also, the gravel roads are now being completed, which is excellent. That's good stuff. 5 workers, 5 whole workers to pick up here. Wowzers. What a day. Yeah, it's making hardly any difference. It's barely worth it. Barely worth it. But not the end of the world. Okay. We have 2 brand new bauxite boats that are streaming towards us. We've got the original 2 bauxite boats coming back into the country now, which is great. In fact, it doesn't look like we made all that much money from them. I mean, we do make 40k a pop, which is nice. You know, don't get me wrong. It's nice that we get 40k a pop. But at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a slow process, and it does consume, you know, a reasonably large amount of fuel. And so that does need to be considered in the context of how effective and profitable this process actually is. Looks like we're gonna see these boats arriving just before we max out on our bauxites. Or indeed, we'll max out very slightly before the boats actually arrive. Not the end of the world. I'm not gonna mind too much about that. I think this is, sincerely, I think that this is the way. I think this is the way that we get our finances back in order. I never anticipated that it could ever in a million years be bauxite that saves us, but hey-ho. Also, is that the... Oh my goodness. That is Bolshoi Alamon Bauxite Processing Facility numero 1 completed. I simply do not believe it. That is absolutely marvelous. Okay. What's the price markup? What's the price markup between bauxite and raw bauxite? So we consume 125 tons and we get 75 tons. What's the price? So raw bauxite is sell at 32. And bauxite is sell at 70 rubles. Okay, we want to get on top of this basically right now. In fact, basically right now. So this changes the equation slightly. This changes the equation ever so slightly. So first and foremost, let's get a pathway over here, a pathway over there. Let's go and build something like this. Yeah, that is an absolutely atrocious bit of railway work, but that's okay. I wonder if I just want to do a loop, a regular loop. I think maybe a regular loop is just fine, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little bit messy, but it's fine. And it means, I think it means that we're able to spend a little bit less on track over the whole process, which is kind of nice. Too sharp of a turn. I did kind of worry that that would perhaps be a little bit of an issue. Right, cool. So chain signal. There we go. Wrong way, but yes, there we go. Okay, so let's build all of that. Let's build all of that, and then these two trains that we have are going to be immediately repurposed. Bolshoi Alamon train platform. Yep, so ditch that stop, and then add this as a stop, and say, yes, that's what we're after. That is indeed exactly what we're after. Let's get people moved into bauxite processing. This is tremendously exciting, and I sincerely cannot wait to see how this ends up working out. But we're going to do it. We're actually going to do it. And all it cost me was a really considerable number of rubles. Love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. So this is going to be quite a tricksy process, I think. Is this connected? That is connected, I think. Yeah, that's definitely connected. Cool. So this can all be taken up. This can all be taken up, right? And then we grab some conveyor engine transfers. We'll take the 1 into 3 here. So this is important for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we need to actually do this in a little bit of a weird way, because we want to prioritize aluminium production. I'm just thinking of the best way to do this, because it's okay. This is going to be a little bit of an expensive nightmare, actually. This is going to be a little bit of an expensive nightmare. So we need exactly this. We need exactly this one. No, we don't. We need 2 outputs and we need 2 inputs. I don't think that we have any conveyor engine transfers that are particularly helpful in this regard, with the exception maybe of the road crossing. Okay, the reason will become clear in literally 10 seconds. No. Yes. Okay. This is good. So, what we need to do, this is going to baffle the mind here. But we basically need to consolidate down this one. We basically need to consolidate down into a single point, and that single point needs to prioritize output to the alumina plant, i.e. all of these storage facilities need to lead into the alumina plant, but we also need an output here to export, right? So we can either connect up to this conveyor tower over here. Is there a space? There is a space left over there. I just wonder what the best way of doing this is. So we got 2 outputs here. This basically needs to connect up. Long and the short of it, needs to connect up over to the harbor, right? So that's what we need to do. I think that the best play I think the best play is trashing this tower. And then trying again. Yeah, so this is going to cause a little bit of an uproar, I suspect. But I think that on the whole, it will be just fine. Okay, so road crossing. I think a road crossing is kind of what we require here. Maybe we're going to be able to fit it in here. Maybe we're not going to be able to fit it in here. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, ditch that, ditch that, ditch that. Okay, road crossings. Road crossings are good. So. Ditch this, I guess, then. Maybe that'll make a difference. So, we need to... Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we need to get that over there. But then we need to get the... Yeah, it needs to be... It needs to basically look like that. But we also need to connect up this storage facility over here. Oh, boy. Alright, well, this is a challenge. This is a challenge if ever I've seen one before. This is a real challenge. This is when this game becomes a freaking puzzle game, eh? I mean, honestly, like, if that worked, if that fit, then that would be excellent. That actually legitimately works. However, kind of needs to be the other way around, because we need to still have the input coming in from this side over here. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, this is very, very confusing. This is very, very confusing. Okay. Okay. Let's think. Let's logic this out. This is not as complicated as it needs to be. Okay. We need a 3. Oh god, this is my brain is broke. My brain is broken. My brain is actually legitimately broken right now. I wonder if we maybe just take this small aggregate storage out and then place it somewhere else. Alternatively, we could just make my life a lot easier and just build all the way around here and connect up to this area somewhere. I kind of don't want to, though. I kind of want to bring this along the inside. Let's... Oh, God, this is... My brain is just so unbelievably sore thinking about this. I hope that what I'm trying to convey actually makes some modicum of sense here. Okay. Hold on. He's had an idea. He's had an idea. Try... Oh, it's so tight as well. It's so tight with the... Okay, put that down. Put that down there. Put that down there. So, next thing that we need to worry about is this. So this is going to come in right over here, right? So that's going to be the bauxite line that comes through. Then we have to get another tower, which is basically going to be that. That's it. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's exactly what we're after. Okay, it looks like chaos. It is chaos, but that's okay. As long as nothing ever burns down ever, then we're going to be just fine. Okay. Now, the next part of the puzzle, which is the easiest part, is we just connect up this. In fact, we do it in a oneer. We do it in a oneer. Okay. So this should all be done. Build this all. It's going to cost an inordinate amount of money because, of course, I've faffed around and made a highly inefficient process. But at the end of the day, it will work. It will work. Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So, basically, what's happening here, the raw bauxite comes up here, into here, along here, can also come down here, into here, and down into the Alamon bauxite processing facility. The output of all of these facilities will consolidate at this point, to prioritize going into the alumina plant, and then after that, they will come all the way around here and go around. The reason that I couldn't reverse the flow of this is that at that point, they would all prioritize going to the harbor, and we would be exporting the processed bauxite before actually turning it into alumina. So there we go. We managed to navigate those choppy waters. Let's build this, and that's all that we really need to build right now anyway. That's completely fine. Right, where are my trams? Have we got people to work here? 0 workers. Hate to see it. 0 workers, hate to see it. That's remarkably lame. You know what? Build this. 39,000 rubles. Let's do it. Let's also take out another cheeky little loan. And we'll see if we can try and employ a whole bunch of people. What's your issue here? You can't... What? You can't get here. What's the issue with that? You can't get to the... Not understanding what the issue is here, video game. No idea, I'm afraid. Okay, let's invite, like, I don't know, 100 people, something like that. And I'm assuming that all of the facilities are going to be accessible. Of course, that is a stupid assumption, Potato. Why would you ever assume such a thing? We're going to need to connect up a couple of bespoke footpaths for these highly sensitive individuals. Right. Excellent. That will fix things for us, though, right? Yeah. So that gets the school and everywhere else that is required. Okay. Good stuff. So, are we loading bauxite? We're loading raw bauxite, right? We are loading raw bauxite. That is good news. Are we processing bauxite? No, we're not processing bauxite yet. Why? Because we haven't got a freaking worker. It's coming along here. Not yet, anyway. Let's get the power transformer over here, because I note that this is without power, or this is without power, and we do need power, believe it or not, to actually work everything over here. Not to mention that we're going to just need a tremendous amount of power anyway to power the alumina plant. I believe that the process of making aluminium is actually one of the most energy intensive processes anyway, like in real life. So for that to be reflected in the video game is probably not a huge surprise. Right, what do we got? 69. Couldn't be anything but 69, could it? 69 workers coming across here. Only 25 can actually work in the bauxite plant, but that's going to be just fine. I'm really happy with how this is working out. I am really genuinely very happy with how this is working out. Let's have a little look to see if this works. Build that pathway there as well. Ooh, and in fact, tell you what, we can assign the overflow workers to this vicinity. Excellent news. Good stuff. All right, let's see. We go from 30 tons per day up to 34 tons. Oh, that's really disappointing, actually. Either way, we're now producing raw bauxite. However, it doesn't seem to be the case that we're gaining that much raw bauxite. We need more raw bauxite. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, this can be rectified if we just stop exporting all of our raw stuff. I wonder if there's going to be any downtime. Where we perhaps have the opportunity to... Let's turn this around. You go over there. You go to the border. I know it's not super efficient, but that's fine. Give the bauxite plant just a little bit of a break here. Missing raw bauxite. This should not be the case. There we go. Okay, so it's starting to be reflected. At the processing plant. That's cool. Very cool. So, I'm assuming that we can load up on both... Yeah, we can load up on both bauxite and raw bauxite, but it might be like one of these situations where we're only able to do one or t'other. I suspect that is the case. Alright, how many people do we have coming in here? 24 workers. Hopefully, all of the workers are going to be going to the processing plant, because that's really where we want people to be going. This is good, actually. We're making bauxite a lot more swiftly than I initially anticipated. We do need to make sure that people are absolutely going to the processing plant, because we're producing far in excess the amount of raw bauxite that we can actually process at the moment. Hence why, you know, it's very important that we have all three of these built at the same time as well. Righty, let's grab some connecting roads here. Excellent. That's looking real good. That's looking real good indeed. Okay, so this boat that's coming in here should take some of the raw bauxite off our hands, which we have managed to max out, which is grand. And then as soon as the train arrives, we should be able to instantly max out the number of employees that we have at the bauxite processing facility. That's real good. That's real good. That's real good. This is excellent. What can I say? This is absolutely brilliant. And it's going to take a while for the boat to be completely filled with proper bauxite. But look at that. Only 136 tons on board the boat and already surpassed the 10,000 ruble mark. It's pretty incredible, actually. It basically takes double. It takes double that. It takes double that of raw bauxite. The price of processed bauxite is double that of raw bauxite. That's about all I have to say on that matter. And that's exactly why we should be continuing to process as much as we possibly can. And in fact, maybe even just completing this second processing plant would be really good. I'm assuming that there is a pathway connection that can be had here. There absolutely is. I think, you know, I actually think that this is a great idea because we have pretty much double the number of workers coming into the station each and every day. And hardly any of those workers are actually being put to use. So, you know what? Let's double our production of bauxite here. I don't know how we managed to spit out a little bit of processed bauxite, given that. Oh no, hold on. Turn around and go back to here, because I want to make sure that we have a 50-50 split. There we go. You're going to get in here. And you're going to unload all of the workers. Excellent. And then you're going to head off. And we are now going to be doubling up. Oh, look at that. Excellent. This is exactly what I like to see. This is genuinely incredible. In fact, you know what? Let's double down. Let's triple down. Let's triple down on bauxite processing. I legitimately think that this entire episode has probably paid for itself. And is probably going to pay for itself much more swiftly. Oh, please let me get this pathway connected here. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. I suspect that this episode is probably going to end up paying for itself much more quickly than I initially anticipated. I don't know if we've necessarily made money this month. Oh, it looks like we have, to be honest. The export of resources is, I mean, it's through the roof. It really is crazy, actually. It's really good. Really, genuinely very good. This is what we like to see. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's excellent. Look at that. 40,000 rubles. 40,000 rubles. 120,000 rubles when all is said and done. Processed bauxite will be loaded onto this vessel. And I, for one, could not be happier. It looks like we're still gaining raw bauxite. Looks like we're still gaining raw bauxite, which is kind of nice. This is a massive bauxite source, apparently. I've said bauxite an inordinate number of times throughout this episode, but I do rather enjoy saying it. This is a rich vein, as they say, and I have really exploited it quite tremendously. If indeed I do say so myself, I'm very happy with how much extraction we have going on. There's probably still room for more. There's probably still room for more mines. Like over here, for example, we could almost certainly get another one if we can find the conveyor input. But you know, it's not necessarily a priority. The priority is just getting rid of the stuff and processing it into something else. This is just working so darned well. It's working so darned well. The only problem is that we may need fewer Hercules boats now that we are fundamentally transporting, you know, about half the resources. But at the end of the day, That's okay. That's okay. If we need less Hercules boats, we can park one up. We can sell one. It doesn't particularly matter. It's going to be just fine. Are we double? No, we're doing one raw bauxite, one processed bauxite. And to be honest, they're filling up at roughly the same rate. And it looks like the raw bauxite numbers are holding roughly steady, which is just incredible, actually. Really, really good. Really, really, really good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is bonkers. That is bonkers, the amount of raw bauxite that we're actually able to produce here. What the heck is happening? What the heck is happening? Look at that! Look at that! 69,000 rubles worth of processed bauxite on board that Hercules ship right there. I simply cannot believe it. I cannot believe how productive and successful this episode has actually been. It is remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for watching this episode. Have we managed to pay off all of our dollar loans? We haven't, but I tell you what, we absolutely can. Right now, we have 439 outstanding. That's a 2, not a 3 potato. We're going to return it, and we are going to be completely debt-free in dollar terms. So we're going to be going in with a clean slate next episode. Our rate of interest on 5-year loans is still 6.4% for rubles. We are 17 million rubles in debt, but that's actually tiny. That's tiny. That's absolutely nothing to worry about. Bolshoi Alamon is going to carry us through. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for watching this one. Thank you as ever to all the fantastic support over on the Patreon page, patreon.com/potato. Thanks to Banana, Ananas, C-Senpai, and Aurelio for being the $325 plus tier patrons. Thank you for watching, folks, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.